This is Carl at National RV Detroit. I'm going to walk you through this 2024 Flagstaff Shamrock, model number 233S. It's a hybrid trailer with 3 fold-out beds. Okay, so this is a how-to video. I'm going to basically show you some of the features. I'm not going to show you the bunks because there's just one of me and I'm holding the camera with one hand. But when you come to pick up, we'll go over that with you. Obviously, these are the latches. We'll go over all the way with you so you understand the whole thing. The main thing you have to remember about putting these up is there's a seal that runs around the perimeter of the whole thing. All the canvas has to be on the inside of the seal. If you don't, then the water can, if it's on the outside or in the seal, it can leak. So you just want to get it all on the inside of the seal with no obstructions. When you put it away, if it's wet, let's say there's morning dew on it or it's a rainy day, whatever, put it away wet. But as soon as you get home or someplace where you can open it up and let the wind blow through it, you do that. You open it up and leave it open for the whole day in the sun, as long as you can, to make sure it's totally dry. If you don't do that, eventually you could get like mold or even mildew, and even possibly mold. So, like you can with any trailer. So you always want to make sure you at the first opportunity you dry these canvases out. Just let the wind whistle through and the sunshine on them, and they'll be nice and clean and look good forever. So okay, that's the most important thing I can tell you about them. Okay, so you have regular crank down stabilizers. Here, just so we know, is a quick connect for the LP system. The reason you have that there, we have a rail here that the grill, or griddle in this case I believe, hangs on. Let me look to see what we got with it. If I can find it. It might be inside the trailer, I don't know. Oh yeah, it's actually a griddle. And this is your line, the line that you plug in. You can see it's got a quick connect on this side also, a female, and then a male on this side. So we'll show you that when you pick up. You have your cranks here, you have your 3/4 crank, and then you have the smaller crank right here. You can see that it's much smaller than the 3/4. That's for your power tongue jack. If your power tongue jack happens to fail for any reason, you can pull this plug right here, and there's a hex in there. You can put that crank right on there. You can crank it manually to get yourself out of trouble. So even if you have any kind of issue with it, you could always crank it manually with that crank. And next, let's see what else we have in here. There's a tabletop that hangs next to the griddle, the griddle, and I guess that covers that. So that will hang over here, right there, and you plug it in at the bottom. Okay. All right. You also have a TV bracket to hang a TV. You get the other side too. It's inside the trailer, so you can put it on the back of a TV, hang it outside if you want. There's signal out and there's power, so you can have a outside TV. You have speaker, power awning with LED. This is the vent for the range hood. If you're going to be using the range hood, the fan in the range hood, you always want to open up these baffles here. You just push up on these until that opens up. Once it's open, it'll flap freely and vent freely to the outside. So, and if you're ever using it, you want to open that up. Otherwise, when you're traveling or in storage, you can just keep it snapped shut like it is now. Okay. Let me go further. This is the your water heater. Okay. Right now it has water in it. The drain plug is right here. You can see that it's in there. It's also an anode rod. It's got a long rod on the back of it. So this is full right now. You have this runs on both 120 AC and LP gas. So you have an electric heating element behind here for the electric, and then you have a gas burner here for the gas. The switches are inside. Never run it without water in the tank. You always make sure it has water in it. Most people run when they get to the campsite, they'll turn on electric. First of all, they'll make sure that there's water in the tank. Then they'll turn on the electric and just leave that on all the time while you're camping. If you need hot water faster, like 2 people are going to shower, let's say, in a row, or 3 people for that matter, you can kick on the electric burner and it'll recover much faster. It's not on demand, but it's a much faster recovery with the gas running. So keep that in mind. Okay. So, deep cycle marine battery, 2 LP tanks, full, power tongue jack, as I stated. There's a kill switch for the battery right here. If you can see, it's right under the tanks on the back, right there. I'll pull away so you can see where I was at. There's a kill switch for the battery. And make sure he's got it on here. Okay. So we keep moving. Here's another storage compartment on your slide room. That's a reducer to reduce your 30 amp cord down to a 20 so you can plug it in at home. There's your dump hose. Fresh water drain is back there. I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's back there. Your shoreline, 30 foot, 30 amp. There's 2 ways to get water to the trailer. The most common is the city water hookup, which is on the back of the trailer. We'll show you that. The second option is the fresh water tank. So if you're camping someplace that does not have city water, you can pre-fill your fresh water tank right here, and then use the onboard pump to pump the water. I'll show you where the switch for the water pump is inside, as well as I mentioned the gas water heater switches. I'll show you those also. But if you don't have city water, you can pre-fill the tank, turn on the pump, and all the water, all the plumbing will work as though you have city water. Of course, if you have city water, you don't have to worry about the pump or the tank. Okay. Side bunk. This is a port for a sprayer. I'll show you that when we come across it. It's prepped for a Furion backup camera kit. So if you're interested in getting one of those, we sell them here. You can get them elsewhere. Just make sure you get the right kit to fit that application there, okay? But it's pre-wired for that. Also, while we're looking up the manufacturer states, you should check the roof every 60 to 90 days. Make sure all the seals are good. Make sure no water can leak through any of the sealant. Make sure there's no damage to the roof or the roofing attachments that would be caused by, let's say, low branches or road debris flying up there. Just give it a good inspection to stay ahead of any potential problems, okay? Odds are you won't have to do anything for years, but you don't know. That's why it's important to inspect it. This is your hose that I just talked about, your quick connect. There it is right there. That snaps onto that port. Here are your hookups here. So this is your city water hookup here. So you just hook the hose onto there, turn it on, and you're all set. Next you have over here, this is for drawing antifreeze into the system when you're winterizing. You'd have to learn about that if you're going to winterize yourself. Okay? And this is your black tank flush here. So after you dump your black tank, which is toilet water and waste, after you dump it, you leave the valve open. Okay, this would be the black tank here. It's always the larger valve. So that's toilet water and waste. That's sink and shower water. So after you dump the black tank, you leave the valve in the open position. Then you can hook the hose at the dump station onto here. You turn it on, spray out the tank, flush it, clean off the sensors, that sort of thing. Make sure you get a good accurate reading from the sensors. So you take care of that. But always do that with the valve open. And then you have cable and satellite through to the inside of the trailer. Okay? All right, so let's go inside. These Flagstaffs are great trailers. Okay, so those are lights you can see. Your awning is lit up now, and you can extend it, retract it. Never leave the awning out unattended. If you're not going to be at the campsite, roll it in. If you don't, eventually it'll get damaged by the weather. Your slide room is right here, in and out. When it comes to the slide room, it's best to don't travel with the table in the up position, because it can bounce around and it can break a window. Theoretically, it could damage a lot of different things. You know, if you hit the right bump or bumps and everything is perfect, you know. So what you want to do is you push this to the side, you push it to the right, collapse the table at the hinges, set it on these cleats here, and there's Velcro to hold it in place. set it on the cleats, and then travel. That's also the position that you would use to make it into a bed if you needed to. So if you did that and you put the table down, you use these back cushions to fill in the space, and you actually have another bed also. Okay? Alright, so back to the panel. I mentioned your water heater. So to light it on gas, you do that. To light it on electric, you do this. Turn on your water pump, you do this. Remember, use the water pump for if you're camping somewhere that does not have city water and you have water in your fresh water tank, you can use that pump to pump the water. You also use that pump to winterize the trailer. And of course, electric and gas for your water heater. Never run it without water in the tank. And this also has heaters on all the tanks, so it has heating pads. So you turn that on, and it extends your camping season by keeping your tanks from freezing. Okay. That Connect is for an app, right? Let's see what else we have here. Then you have your levels. So you can see them right now. Everything is low, so you're in good shape. Okay. Okay. There is an app for this. Like I think I might have said that. Now your microwave works like any other microwave. This is your range hood with a fan and a light in it. So you got a light and a fan. If you're going to use that fan, remember what I said about opening the baffle out here. Right there. So if you don't open the baffle, it will not vent to the outside because it's obstructed. So make sure you open it up if you're venting. When it comes to your range, it's pretty self-explanatory. I assume he has the gas on. We'll see. If not, I'll just talk you through it. Maybe he doesn't. Let me go see. I didn't prep this trailer, so. Okay. So whenever you change the tank, let's say, an air bubble will get in the line, and you'll have to push past that. So I think you just hooked the tanks up, and you weren't quite past it. So it'll take us a few minutes to get past that before we can get the spark. So bear with me here. Close it off again so we don't build up gas. Keep doing it. Oh, I think I know what I'm doing wrong here. Hold on. I have to set the camera down. Try and set it so you can see. This is a newer model, so you have to push. I don't know if you can see that, but you have to. There was no problem with the gas in the line. The problem was when you spark this, I can only do it with one hand here. So you're going to turn it on and then you depress it, right? It has to be depressed when you spark it. Turn this clockwise to see if I can do it. Right there, it lit. So you have to depress it before it'll light. It's just a safety device, so a kid can't just accidentally turn the gas on, bump it and turn the gas on and just leave it. You have to you have to push it and then turn it, so it's more difficult to do. Okay. When it comes to your oven, there's a pilot light all the way to the back there. Maybe we can see it here. Yeah, there's a spark back there. You can see that, hopefully. So you go to the knob. You're going to go to the picture of the pilot light. You depress it. You keep it depressed while you're lighting it. You spark it by turning it clockwise. You keep sparking it till you see the pilot light. After it lights, you still hold this in for another 10-15 seconds, long enough for the thermocouple to heat up so it stays lit. When you do that, you go to operating temperature and it cycles as an oven does. When you shut it off, the flame goes out, but so does the pilot light. So you have to relight the pilot light each time you use the oven. You have lights here. There's your oven light off, and then your ambient light. Okay. Always travel with this shutter. Okay. Your keys are hanging on your faucet. Let's just look around here and see what he's got, just so I know. Like I said, this wasn't my prep, so this is your manual for it. It has all the information for all the trailer and all its components. All right. little pantry, just some cubby type storage. Okay. All the lights that don't go on with the master switch have a button on them. Okay. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll loop around and do the refrigerator. First we'll do the power converter. Let me just look around the trailer for a second. Like I said, I didn't prep it myself, so I'll take a look and see what's happening with it. Okay, solar panel. Excellent. Alright, so this has a solar panel and a power inverter and a power converter. So this is the bottom line. When you plug into shore power, which is 120 AC, your power converter here, this is the power converter, will convert your 120 AC here to 12 volt DC here. So you start off with regular circuit breakers like you'd see at home, and they're labeled for all the 120 AC appliances, right? Then the power is converted to 12 volt DC here, and you see you've got 12 volt fuses here, and they're all labeled, so you know what the fuses are for. That's where the 12 volt power comes from. This is also a battery tender, so when you're plugged into shore power, it senses how much energy your battery, up on the tongue, or batteries if you have one or two. It's always best to get two. If you just, I don't know how many you purchased with this trailer, but you do have a power inverter, which I'll explain in a minute. When you have an inverter, it's good to have two batteries. Okay. So you can see that it'll automatically detect what type of battery it is, whether it's lithium or lead, you know, wet battery, whatever. So this is the power converter, 120 AC to 12 volt DC. So you have that. Then over here, this switch is for the inverter. The inverter is the opposite of the converter. The converter started with AC power and converted it to DC. The inverter starts with DC and converts it or inverts it to AC. So that's what we have here. Get it going here. Okay, so there you have it. So you turn it on. You only turn it on when you need to invert. So right now you can see it's starting to set up. 117 AC volts are being produced from the 12 volt battery. You can see it right here. The reason you do that is these receptacles here, see, they say they're an inverter circuit. I don't know if you can read that or not. But the receptacles are inverted, have the inverter hooked up to it. So you can, if you're out in the middle of nowhere and you just have battery and solar power, and you have, let's say, a 12 volt appliance, a blender or a coffee pot or something, you can still run it by turning on the inverter and inverting the 12 volt DC from the DC system, inverting it to 120 AC, and running it. So you can't run huge appliances. It's just for small appliances and that sort of thing. So that's what your inverter is for. And like I said, the receptacles are attached to the inverter. When you're not using it, shut it off. Hold it for a few seconds. Shut it off. You don't need to invert the power unless you need it. So only when you have something appliance to run or something like that, you're going to turn it on. Okay, so when starting with 120 AC, which is regular shore power, regular current, this power converter starts with 120 AC and converts it to 12 volt DC, charges the battery, right? This is the inverter. It does the opposite. It starts with the battery, which is 12 volt DC, and inverts it to 120 AC and sends the inverter power to the receptacles, okay? So you charge your battery here with the converter. Also, your tow vehicle will charge the battery when you're pulling down the road, right? The third way that it's charged is through the solar panel on the roof. So that brings us over here. Let me see what he's got here. So he's got it rotating now, so we'll just look at this way. I'll have to talk fast because it's going to keep moving here. Temperature, 46 degrees Fahrenheit. This is the most important one with the two different readouts. The first one said 13.7. It'll come around again. That's the DC voltage. So 13.7 is the DC voltage in your trailer and in your battery. So that's excellent. That's what you want. As it comes around again, the second gives you is 0.4 amps. So we're parked in the shade right now, so it's all it's telling you is you're gaining 0.4 amps from the solar panel and sending it to the battery for storage. So as you go on and you get in the sun gets higher in the sky, all the conditions are right. It'll go up past 7.5, for example, amps will be sent to your battery for storage. Right now it's only 0.4, just a little less than a half of an amp. But that's where you determine how much electricity you're getting from the sun and storing in your battery, okay? And like I said, the 13.7 is telling you the DC voltage. It has nothing to do with AC voltage. None of this does, right? It's all about the 12 volt DC system, okay? There's more you can learn about this. You just have to read the literature or go to GoPower's website. They got excellent videos and PDFs, that sort of thing. So you can learn as much as you want to about that. Now this is the thermostat for the air conditioner and the furnace. So the bottom one here is fan speed, high, low, auto, high, low, and regular high, low. Always keep it on auto. So we got it on auto high. That's perfect. The reason you want to keep it on auto because it'll make the correct decision when you turn it on. You don't have to tell it. So we're off here. Heat. I don't know if you can hear it kick on or not, but that's the furnace. It lights automatically, right? Shut it off. When you shut it off, you notice it keeps running. Well, as soon as you shut it off, the flame goes out, right? But it'll still continue to finish its cycle, so it could take a couple minutes before it shuts off. You go one more to the left. The fan starts, the fan on the air conditioner. With the fan running, it basically runs without the compressor, so it just circulates air. The air conditioner just circulates air. If you want to cool, you go one more to the left to full air conditioning. Of course, you'd have to turn your temperature down, and you have full AC, and it'll come through all the vents. It's that simple. So everything's automatic. You just set it, and then, like I said, you come back over to off, right there. Now the furnace makes 3 attempts to light when you turn it on, and it'll always light within the 3 attempts. I mean, it's rare that it doesn't. It would have to be an air pocket in there or something like that. If it ever doesn't, just with it still running, just click it to the off position. Wait about 10 seconds and click it back on again, which will reset the cycle, and it'll definitely kick in the next time. But you shouldn't really have to do that. But that's in case it happens, you'll know. Okay. All right. So you have nice 4-speed fans. This is covered, so you can crank it up, and there's a cover over it, so you can leave it open during the rain. If you ever have, it does have tenants, so if you ever have issues with condensation, for example, let's say the temperature is just right for condensation to happen, you got a bunch of people over, you're having fun, just open up and turn on the fan, and it'll pull all that humidity, that condensation out. You have 2 of those, right? Here's the second one. So if you ever see any condensation, just kick on the fan, it's no problem. And having 2 of these also, you open the windows in the summertime and turn them on. There's a lot of times where you normally kick on the air conditioner, or you won't have to run both those fans. They're very, very, very good at what they do. So, okay. The toilet is typical RV toilet. It sits right over a black tank, right? So, when you get to the campsite, you hook up your power and your water. You come in here, you put a dose of chemical in the bowl, then you step on the pedal and hold it down. Water will come spinning out and go down the drain along with the chemical. Always put at least a gallon of water in the tank. Never run it with less than a gallon of water, but you can use more. You could use 2 gallons if you want, whatever you want. But the bottom line is never use less than a gallon, and always use 1 dose of chemical, at least 1 dose. If you don't do that, it's running it dry, it'll get clogged up, it'll smell terrible, it'll just be a mess. So you always want at least a gallon of water plus your chemical, okay? The rest of it's self-explanatory for the faucet and everything, but this has one more feature, this one eco feature. This is called a shower miser. There's the tag for it. If you want to go to their website and learn anything, you can do it. But they got a really good drawing on the back that explains what's happening with it. I'll just talk you through it here. Okay, so right now it's on regular shower. If you look at you can see the little schematic behind it, right? The drawing. So you put it here with the recycle symbol. What this does is it recycles the water around in a loop while it's heating up. Therefore, normally if you're heating water up, it just goes down the drain while you're heating it up. So you're wasting perfectly good water. And in some areas of the country with droughts and that sort of thing, you're not really allowed to do that. You shouldn't do that. So, and also, if you just let cold water go down, you're wasting room in your gray storage tank, right? It's going to fill up faster. So with this water, the shower miser, it sends it around in a loop till it heats up. When it heats up, you'll see this plastic looking part, it'll change color to like a beigeish color. You'll see it plain as day. Once it does that, you know that it's hot. Okay? So once it's hot, you're just going to flip it up to this position here, and you got hot water. So you've heated up your water without wasting any fresh water or wasting any room in your gray storage tank. So you can see the purpose of it. It's a really neat thing. So that's called a shower miser, and you're basically saving water by using it. Okay. Another important thing when you're traveling, always latch this. Always. If you don't, these will open and shut and slam against each other and slide around. Eventually, sometime it's going to break. Something will break. But if you do this, keep it latched, it will not happen. It'll be good forever. So never travel without this latch like that, okay? Alrighty, so let me look around and see if I forgot anything. Like I said, we'll go over the beds, the fold-out beds when you pick up. This is for a second TV here. There's a backer plate for a bracket and TV hook up there, so you can always do that. It says inverted circuit, so if you turn on the inverter, you'll have, if you don't have any AC power, you're out in the middle of nowhere, it'll invert your 12 volt to DC to 120 AC, like I explained. Looking for another one here. This is the GFCI plug-in here. You know, everybody has them in their home. If you lose 12 volt, you're having trouble, always check to make sure it's not tripped, right? Also, all the plugs in the trailer are wired through this GFCI, so if you're using a plug outside and it pops, you're still going to reset it in here. So keep that in mind. If for some reason my outlets aren't working, check this. And all the receptacles are wired through this, so they're all protected by the GFCI. Alright, this couch flips over this way into a bed. You got storage underneath it. You have chargers, USB chargers for your devices. Storage under here. And we'll have some more good stuff here. A remote. Now this TV is more than just a TV. It has FM radio. It has Wi-Fi. Or I'm sorry, it has Bluetooth, not Wi-Fi, I'm sorry. It has Bluetooth, and it has two speaker zones. Inside the trailer, A and B. A is inside the trailer, B is outside the trailer. So you can select however you want. And like I said, you can hook up your phones and tablets to it. It's got Bluetooth and FM radio, as well as a regular TV set. It's got a fold-out bracket, and the bracket locks into place. So make sure you lock it. You'll feel it snap into place. Otherwise, it's going to get caught behind here when you're moving the slide out. You could have an accident. You know, it could be a problem. So, and plus, you don't want it flinging around while you're driving. So always make sure it's latched in place like it is right now. Alrighty, what else do we have here? Let me go through this quickly. You have another feature for your tires. This is a tire monitor here. You have to program this. Your wheels on your trailer have a sensor that's attached to the wheel, inside the tire, attached to the wheel, directly across from the valve stem. So you can program this. You read the directions. You can program this to tell you the tire pressure, to tell you the temperature of the hubs, and you can set audible alarms or just visible ones, flashers, but audible alarms generally. So if you lose pressure in a tire, it'll tell you. If it has too much pressure, it'll tell you. Or if the hub heats up too much. So that's the monitor for your tires. This is the bracket I told you about. It goes on the back of your TV for outside, and that's the cable to connect it. You get some stuff, some touch-up stuff, a marker, some brown putty, and some white putty in case you ever chip or ding anything, you can touch it up. I don't know, we have 2. I'll find that out, I don't know what happened there. Toilet paper roll if you want to hook them up. Most people use a portable stand because they tend to get torn off the wall, especially if you have kids or grandkids. And a spatula, that sort of thing. So, okay, I think that covers it. Like I said, you want to travel with this table in the stowed position. Okay, so I want to thank you for purchasing your trailer here at National RV Detroit. Please remember what I said about inspecting the roof every 60 to 90 days. That's important. Odds are you won't have to do anything for years, but that's why you inspect it, just to stay ahead of any potential problems. You can't see what's happening on the roof unless you go up there and look, and that's a fact. So whoever goes up there has to be very careful, but it should be part of your regular routine, okay? Also, this is when it comes to the water system, there's no antifreeze in the system. It's all fresh water, so it's still set for camping. So cold weather's on its way, so you're going to have to winterize it sometime before the weather gets too cold, okay? Thank you very much.